For those who want to buy properties, apartments, for example, let's talk about that. You've got the Sectional Properties Act 2020.
Yes.
And I believe sometime in May you put a stop to the previous method of owning land. I think it was long-term leases.
Yes.
Some are not happy with that. They feel that, again, it should have been a case of hybrid model because the regulations for the Sectional Properties Act 2020, I believe, are still not fully out. So they're not sure how do we go about registering these apartments if our clients want to transact with them.
So for sectional properties, Wahiga, there are two issues. We have the properties which have already been registered as long-term leases using RDA. Those what the government will do, once we finalize with the regulations, we will regularize them. By regularize, I mean we will give you a surveyor, we go to your property and create the sectional plan, because the instrument for registration here, as far as Survey of Kenya is concerned, is the sectional plan. So at the cost of government, we will support landowners to regularize, because the law itself has given us 2 years to migrate to the Sectional Properties Act of 2020. The law came into force in 2020. So 2 years from December of 2020. Already we've done about 7 months of that. We still have 1 year and some few months to complete the migration process. And we are saying, let us work with our landowners and support them. Currently, we are working with the HFCK. They have about 400 and something properties in Komarok. And we've just created the sectional plans. We are helping them to register them properly. The issue is this, Wahiga. We have a new law. We cannot use an old law and then spend money to correct the mistake we are making. And that is why we put a cutoff of May and said for those which have already been registered, no problem. But going forward, when you come to the ministry, please follow the law. And the correct legal framework for registration of sectional units is the Sectional Properties Act. And we are saying, we are supporting you, we are going to help you. So why do you want to apply the wrong law and then we spend money to correct the mistake?
When will, and that's a fair point you make, Madam CS, but when will the regulations be ready?
I think they're about that now. The stakeholders are going on. But you see, creating a sectional plan, by the way, doesn't even require regulations. It's survey work. A sectional plan is really just creating geospatial data. In the same way, if you want to buy land, you go and survey. It's exactly the same thing. Exactly. The only thing here, instead of using building plans, which are not recognized legal instruments, we are creating a sectional plan. The sectional plan basically is geospatial data to locate your unit.
On the system?
No. Even on ground.
Even on ground.
Because it's like coordinates, because it's georeference. It tells you your parcel of land is in this place, in this studio. It is on floor number 1, unit number 10. That is all the sectional plan does. Then you bring that to the ministry, we register it, and subsequently we issue titles based on the sectional plan. That's really what it is, Wahiga. For those which have already been registered under RDA, there's no problem, because we are going to take time to regularize as we bring them on board the platform. Even now, if you want to transact on your apartment and it was registered with RDA, you come the same way HFCK have come to us, and we support you to regularize. That's all we are saying, Wahiga. There's nothing sinister. And by the way, this law was in the making for 2 years, from 2018 when I joined government, and it became law in 2020. There were many opportunities in between for public participation, and indeed we did public participation. If anybody has an issue with the law, the correct way is to go to Parliament and attempt to amend it. But you cannot tell us to not apply a law which is existing, because it took Parliament, the National Assembly, Senate, stakeholders, everybody to write this law. But if the law can be, maybe it has gaps, and if it does, we go back to Parliament and ask to amend it. Why do we want to refuse to implement a law which we wrote ourselves? Because that is the fate that befell the Sectional Properties Act of 1987, which we repealed to bring on board this one. We barely implemented it.